Oh, that's real good.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our channel Penny Lesson. We talk about everything finance, from tips on making money and proper investing to news about the different economies and situations affecting the global markets. The goal of this channel is not only to teach you how to be more financially responsible but also to teach you how to be more aware of global events. So why not just sit back and relax while we tell you what's happening in the finance sphere? Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to be constantly updated on my latest videos. Remember, one penny lesson a day keeps being penny less away. The dollar wasn't always the reserve currency. It's only existed in its current form since the early 1900s, and it took the title from the British pound in the mid-20th century. Bretton Woods changed that. After World War II, 44 countries laid a worldwide trade and economic agenda that tied the dollar to gold. All participating countries tied their currencies to the dollar. This permitted countries to retain American dollars in reserve instead of physical gold because they could exchange dollars for gold whenever needed. Because trading nations' currencies were pegged to the dollar, American dollars became the default for international trade. It also required countries to retain a specific amount of US dollars to honor currency exchanges at the agreed-upon peg rate. Even now, reserve currencies are used to defend states whose money isn't acceptable to international parties. The 1970s, Bretton Woods collapsed. Even after this rigid structure fell, the US dollar remained the logical choice. Reserve currency status means nothing today. No international body or treaty mandates the US dollar confirmed before Bretton Woods. Bretton Woods proved that global reserve currencies are chosen because they are the best option, not because of an official proclamation. The US dollar is stable. It's highly recognized, widely traded, and cheap. It's no longer backed by gold, but the global market determines its exchange price. And it's how the world's most excellent economy pays its taxes, which funded the world's most potent military help. Fair value, wide circulation, stability, and acceptance are needed for any currency to become the world's reserve. These categories favor the US dollar. Consider why the US dollar is the unofficial global reserve currency. Which currency would you prefer if you could be paid in another? Dollars, right? If you're American, pick another currency to remember. So what? Being the world's reserve has advantages. Since America has been the world's greatest economy for 130 years, it makes sense that its currency would be the world's reserve. Does this give any advantages over other currencies? True. Benefits galore. First, it reduces global exchange rate risk. Because American dollars are its home currency, an American corporation exporting goods in dollars won't risk the currency's value relative to its own. Reduced foreign exchange risk makes America more appealing to investors. 20% of earnings on global investments are useless if the currency value is down 30%. Being the world's reserve reduces this risk, and being the top investment destination offers several benefits. First, it makes government funding easier. Since the government's debts are denominated in their currency, they have almost no default risk. It's easier for enterprises to get investors to create more excellent economic value. The US has some of the most productive workers in the world, not because Americans are exceptionally well-educated or hard-working, but because firms have more money to enhance their stuff. Controlling the world's reserves provides the US with enormous political influence. International financial institutions must follow American laws abroad or lose access to the world's reserve currency. This kind of power is excellent, so China wants its currency to be the new world reserve, or an alternative to the dollar. What's their plan? After the euro and the US dollar, the Chinese yuan is the third most frequent currency reserve. Trading is China's best instrument for promoting its currency. When countries trade, a decision is taken. Will they use the exporting nation's currency, the importing nation's currency, or the US dollar? Small-time importers pay exporters in local currency. If a small Australian business imported engine components from Germany, They would have to pay in euros because small enterprises can only accept payments in their home currency. More extensive operations are unpredictable. Usually, the purchase contract specifies the settlement currency. On a worldwide scale, it's easier to employ a trusted third party, which is virtually always the US dollar. Nearly all international oil sales are made in US dollars, called petrodollars. Big oil exporters accumulate this currency naturally. China trades heavily. It's the world's largest manufacturer and seller. Almost everyone watching this video has a Chinese-made item within a meter. For these products, China imports raw materials, energy, and machinery. All these exports and imports provide China a chance to demand monetary trade. They are more straightforward with neighbors. The Belt and Road Plan is a major Chinese infrastructure project to improve trade in developing nations. Chinese state banks finance this project. RMB loans must be repaid in RMB. If sovereign nations have considerable debts in a different currency than their own, they must keep some of that money in reserve or default on their loan. Trade with China to build up your reserves. The war has helped China promote its currency in Ukraine. China hasn't wasted a catastrophe. The so-called BRICS economies met last month to discuss trade, primarily in the context of Western sanctions on Russia. Since being shut off from the West, these compelling economies have increased trade by 38% this year. This helps China more than Russian oil. It is pressing the trading bloc to accept the RMB as the de facto medium of exchange, and as it is by far the most prominent and significant member, this is likely to happen. Western sanctions, especially those that cut off Russian funds, have made some governments internationally uncomfortable about their accounts. Any reserve currency needs a fair value, wide circulation, stability, and acceptance. If the US can cut off the reserves of a misbehaving foreign nation, it could happen to them. Canada, Australia, and much of Western Europe, which is politically, culturally, and economically close to the US, are unlikely to be sanctioned. These sanctions are a wake-up call for countries without solid ties to diversify emergency reserves with currencies the West can't shut off. The Chinese yuan is America's best risk hedge. It's the world's largest exporting nation's currency. The Ukrainian invasion shows that China will do business with economies the West shuns. Will the Chinese RMB become the world's reserve currency? No. Yes, its global use is rising, as expected, given China's economic expansion over the previous 30 years. I don't think many of you would have chosen RMB if you weren't compensated in your currency. Reserve currencies are similar to shares of the issuing country. You want to ensure it's well-run and sustainable, and that management won't be foolish. Many organizations find China's currency unattractive for many reasons. Its utility is limited. Chinese citizens can't transfer more than 50,000 USD annually. Two things are clear. China believes it must jail its people's wealth to discourage them from starting businesses and residing abroad. It also demonstrates that China is so uneasy with its currency that it prints laws and dollars. If Chinese citizens could swap as much money as they wished, the RMB's value would plummet. China decreases its currency's value in foreign exchange markets to boost exports. This strategy helped strengthen its industrial foundation. It also indicates the currency doesn't have a fair value, an important issue when choosing a reserve currency. China's currency is overvalued due to restrictions on money transfers and foreign exchange manipulations. Foreign currency reserves kept exclusively in US dollars can be sanctioned by the US. Many governments don't like having that much outside influence. Okay, China isn't an option. It's known for unjustified economic punishment. The US sanctioned Russia for attacking another country. China sanctioned Australia to avoid another coronavirus epidemic. Yes, foreign currency reserves are susceptible to the whims of the issuing governments, but some are more stable than others, and there are more than two options. Most central banks are stockpiling reserve currencies. Lockdowns, trade wars, financial crises, housing bubbles, and government infighting hurt the RMB global reserve more than opportunistic gains and heavy-handed trade deals. Wow, was that news? Why not ponder it? Want to know the latest? Comment if you want more articles like this. This video is just one of many videos on my channel that brings you the latest news about the world of global finance and economics. So go hit that subscribe button if you don't miss out on content like these. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Thank you for all your support, and I'll see you again next time. Remember, one penny lesson a day keeps being penny less away. Cheers.